too. Knows about the grind. Yeah, the bubble grind.
Now we have a guy that could probably get in there if you...
It's game day. The Edmonton Oilers hit the road once again. Happy Tuesday, Nassies. How you doing? Welcome to EST Afternoons here live from the William Huff Studios. It's Edmonton Sports Talks. Matthew Iwanyk, Zach Kubusch, Hernan Salas here with you. Fun show coming up. Of course, we're going to break down the Oilers' 3-2 loss to the Anaheim Ducks. Lots to get to on that game. They have recalled the players, so they won't play shorthanded anymore. The Denver Nuggets fire GM and coach sitting fourth. Interesting. That's fascinating.
People are scared of the Lakers.
I don't know about that.
Memphis fires a coach as the Lakers are right there. Now Denver does it. Everyone's scared of what the Lakers are doing right now.
You might be onto something.
Dominated OKC this past weekend. People are scared of LeBron and Luka.
140 Heat and Smoke. Koob will test our hockey trivia knowledge. It's gonna be a walk for Hernan. Guaranteed. And 2:20 we'll head to Montreal. Big game tonight. Red Wings, if they win, they're pretty much in. It's not official, Maddie. But man, what a season for the Montreal Canadiens. I did not have them in the playoffs, if I'm being honest, but good for them.
Well, honestly, did you have the Sens or the Canadiens in?
I did not. I thought the Sens would be a little bit closer.
Why are you putting your hand up, Zach? Did you pick the Sens to make the playoffs?
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't.
Where's the proof?
It's in my mind. I thought they would. I don't know. I thought it the whole season. I said it at some point, I think.
Lies!
Okay. Well, it's always when you're saying those, like, I don't know if it's like a Reed and Jay prediction show that you guys did at the start of the season or something.
It might have been.
That we could look back on something like that.
And it's perfect timing because it's just been announced Ivan Demidov will be joining the Montreal Canadiens from SKA from the KHL. Maddie, huge news. Can the youngster make an impact on this team? Lane Hudson, unreal right now.
Do you want to mess with a good thing, though?
That's another good point. And we'll ask Stu Cowan, who will join us from the Montreal Gazette at 2:20. So lots to get to on the show. And, of course, we're going to have some fun this day in sports history. It's not usually sports. It's more like what happened on this day in music, movies, even though you haven't seen any movies.
I only see the best of the best. I don't need to see anything else.
Okay, there. Have you seen The Outsiders?
Again, actually, I did in high school.
Did you?
I was forced to. I've never watched it again. That should tell you the answer.
All right.
It is not one of the greatest of all time.
Hit us up on the River Korean box 780-218-9999. The nasty chat as well. Yesterday was the lowest thumbs up we've had probably since the first week of our show back in September. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. Yeah, so let's bump those numbers up. Let's do it for Matthew Iwanyk. Let's do it for...
That's your mistake right there.
Let's do it for Noah Philp, who got called up. Let's do it for Olivier Rodrigue, who was pretty damn good in his debut. The Oilers didn't help him much. Let's just leave it at that. Maddie, do you like warm milk?
So, Zach, Trev, and Brendan asked me this question after a meeting I had today. I don't mind warm milk. I have gone and microwaved some milk, and I've drank it before. I have gone and put it on the stove and warmed it up that way before.
But chocolate milk.
And that is much different to heat it up. Purposely to heat it up.
Yeah, not sitting up. Like, I've gone, but the question was warm milk. And so I've gone and I've warmed it up and I've drank it and it's very nice. It's also one, like if you're going to do the powder for chocolate, cocoa or something, like that Nestle stuff. I want that warm. Or when you're making a hot chocolate, I would like the base to be milk, which is then, hot chocolate is just, in the end, isn't chocolate milk just cold hot chocolate then in that point to some degree?
Yeah, it's a
to
good
some
point.
way.
Yeah.
In some way. So like I don't mind warm. I don't want 8-hour-old warm milk or chocolate milk.
Just sitting in your room.
And I don't think I would ever, I'm just trying to think if I've ever actually taken like chocolate milk and have warmed it up. Maybe when I was younger. I don't want to do it as an adult. Where are you on warm milk?
the classic normal milk, white milk. I can warm it up. I haven't had that in a long time, but I've had it, and it's good.
And the people are pointing, it's the overnight milk, and that's what people are asking with Trev. Here's what I will say. I think if I pour a glass of milk, obviously I'm gonna drink it. I think if I get to an hour, I'd probably look at him like, okay, I gotta put this back in the fridge. It's probably been out for a little too long. I probably need to cool it down. Like if I haven't finished it, I would quickly down it or something. I think like the hour mark is to me the timeline I would have with milk. If it's past an hour, no would be the answer.
Big Uke says no. Warm chocolate milk is not cold hot chocolate.
What would be the difference? Like, and I'm not like I'm saying like with the chocolate, like you get that powdered stuff that you just put in your milk and then you stir it up. Why would they be?
Remember the syrupy stuff you can get?
Oh yeah,
that was good. The strawberry one was
but like you take Ovaltine and throw that in. Like what? Like I'm actually generally curious. What now is the difference of classification from hot chocolate and chocolate milk? From like, is it not just the temperature, beyond the temperature?
Interesting. What a topic. That's why I love Confessions, because Trev has brought us some gold lately. And yeah, warm milk just sitting on your dresser while you sleep is kind of weird.
What does ChatGPT say for how long milk can sit out?
Well, and they, like at Costco or whatever, they have chocolate milk in packages that are sealed in single servings, and they're not refrigerated. So they're out and about, like they're just there, but they have so many preservatives in them. This is different from regular milk. He's saying like get the Dairyland kind of small carton of milk or whatever, the plastic one or whichever one you want to do. And then he sets it on the shelf and has it in the morning when it's lukewarm.
I asked ChatGPT, how long can milk sit out before I shouldn't drink it? Milk should generally not be left out at room temperature for more than 2 hours. If it's a hot day above 32 degrees Celsius, that time is reduced to 1 hour. After that, harmful bacteria can grow, increasing the risk of foodborne illness. If you're unsure about whether the milk has been left out too long, it's safest to just discard it. Always store milk in the fridge or below 4 degrees Celsius to keep it fresh and safe for consumption.
Does Trev know that?
I don't know.
Trev, come here.
Please. Why don't we,
he says it's healthy.
Zach doesn't. Jay never says please or
Tell
anything.
him.
Milk should generally not be left out at room temperature for more than 2 hours because harmful bacteria can grow, increasing the risk of foodborne illness.
Well, I did not know that, and I don't think that's going to stop me because I've been doing it for 12 years, baby. Let's go.
I ChatGPT to when if it's okay to do that.
It's unreal. It's healthy.
Well, it's not healthy.
I've done it.
Okay, that doesn't mean it's healthy. Just because you've done it does not mean it actually makes it healthy. I just want to define that part.
Yeah.
You saying it's healthy does not just make it healthy.
My grandma says it's healthy. She's a nurse.
This comes from the same guy who ate like 5 Donairs in a week.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't believe it.
Oh, that's
I don't
interesting. All right. Chocolate milk is not a lot.
Oh, she's saying what's the difference between warm milk and a latte? Same thing. Well, a latte has coffee in it or like espresso in it.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm good on this conversation.
Okay. Moving on. You're good?
For me, I am. Are you good?
I'm good.
I think we've all agreed that the majority of people, like if it's saying that that's weird, that you shouldn't do that.
Very weird. But hey, he's been doing it for 12 years. Nothing's happened to him. So
Has he ever been sick?
I'm sure he's been sick.
He was sick just a few weeks ago.
I don't think it's because of the milk.
You don't know that.
He probably didn't have enough chocolate milk. That's why he got sick.
I'm just saying, like, we can't, like, if you've gotten sick, you don't know that. Like, you might have, I don't know, the bacteria maybe lowers the immune system. That's why he got sick. Maybe if he stopped doing that, he wouldn't get those illnesses.
That's a good point. All right, Maddie. Oilers lose 3-2 in Anaheim last night.
Yeah.
Oilers, I thought were the better team. They had the puck the whole night. I thought Olivier Rodrigue was good.
So goalied?
I don't think they were goalied.
Sorry, I just like
no.
lose.
And I'm glad
Go
you
to
brought that up.
goalied.
We brought this up last night. The Oilers weren't goalied because Lucas Dostal didn't have to make many huge saves. Okay, there was a lot of shot volume.
You made some nice saves at the end.
Sure,
when they were
but
trying to tie it.
I don't think they were goalied. Okay, I think Bouchard and Kapanen owe Olivia Rodrigo an apology for their blunders in that game. His second shot of the game, Matt, was a 3-on-1. Like, man, the Oilers are frustrating at times. Jeff Skinner, Adam Enrique score, which is a positive. The negatives, 0-6 on the power play versus the 30th ranked PK. The officials were awful. They missed a ton of calls. Yet the Oilers still had 6 power plays, couldn't convert. What did you make of the game last night? Because a lot of fans they're worried. They're this, they're that. The Oilers were shorthanded. They didn't have their top players. And yes, I know Anaheim's not a very good team. They're terrible defensively. Like, they gave up the puck so much last night. But I'm not putting this on the goaltending. But they need the 2 big guys to score.
Okay, but here's the question I have. Let's say this Oilers team had to play an 82-game season.
Okay.
The one that was fielded last night. Are they better than or worse than the Anaheim Ducks roster?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Because
Tommy said it was a preseason lineup.
No, 100% sure. But in the end, if that is that roster better or worse than the Anaheim Ducks?
Oh boy.
Because now you're like, and there's a lot of injuries there. But that's the question I will throw out there to people's ideas. Because if that roster in your eyes is better than the Ducks, why can't you go win that? I don't care that it's a preseason. Go win that hockey game.
So
if you think they're worse than the Ducks, then okay, I have time for that, and then that was the end result. But if that team is on paper, the way you look at it, better than the Anaheim Ducks on paper, why are you struggling against the Ducks this season?
I'll take 8 of the Anaheim's forwards over Podkolzin right now.
Okay,
seriously, I would over Kapanen, over Max Jones. I mean, so who are the Oilers' top players forward-wise last night? Nuge, Hyman,
Nuge, Hyman are your big guys.
Arvidsson.
You got Jeff Skinner.
Sure. Is anyone on Anaheim better than Nuge and Hyman right now? Ryan Strome, Troy Terry, Leo Carlson, Trevor Zegras, Mason McTavish, Cutter Gauthier, Frank Vetrano. Because if the answer is no, then they're not better than the Oilers.
So then why couldn't the Oilers go get that victory?
Again, they carried the play. But again, not a ton of traffic at the net. You saw the Adam Enrique goal, Matty. There was like 6 bodies in front of the goalie. That's what you need more of. The power play stunk. Let's just be honest. It's 0-for-6. I don't think Anaheim had a better roster last night than... They might have better younger players. I'll give them that. They had the better goalie. And that's not a shot at Olivia Rodrigo. It's just the reality.
It's the first ever game.
Yeah, it's just the reality. But defensively, I mean, Nurse, I thought Nurse was a rock. I like Jake Wallman. Kulak's always good and steady. Bouchard's a mess in his own end, but much, much better in the offensive end, as we all know. So that's a good question, man. I didn't even think of that.
And that's like it's easy to give the excuse for the Oilers. You have a lot of injuries, but it's not like you went up against an NHL playoff team. So the question I would have is if now some people like Joe, he wants to panic, but he said also in the nasty chats. Did I just miss that? John Carlo said worse. Thinks that this team is worse than that Ducks roster. And then okay, then that's fair. But if you believe that when you look at that roster, it's better than the Anaheim Ducks, why can't you go get that victory? Now, I'm not in a position that I'm ready to panic about this team. They're making the playoffs. So somebody texted in the morning show today, being like, it's over. They're out of the playoffs. Like they're not going to win a game without these big dogs, and they're going to miss the playoffs. All the Oilers have to do is go win 1. The Flames have to drop 1, and the Oilers have to go win 2, and it's over. They're in the playoffs.
The Oilers are going to the playoffs.
Absolutely. It's just, why can't you get more from a team when your big guns aren't there? And look, Ekholm's not there too, and that is a big one.
Yeah. That's the biggest one to me. Because I know Leon's coming back. Stoff said on the broadcast he expects Leon back quick and maybe McDavid a game or 2 after Leon. So, and that's a guy that's in the know. So, sure, you can take it with a grain of salt if you'd like, but sounds like those 2 guys are close. Frederick's not ready till the playoffs. The one for me is Matthias Ekholm. We haven't heard anything on Matthias Ekholm. Anything. So for me, last night was one of those games where, and Maddie, we've seen them play well without the two big guys, but they have trouble scoring because they're not. A lot of these guys are not elite finishers. They're not. Hyman is, Nuge at times is. Jeff Skinner, his career has been scoring goals, okay, and he scored last night. But the rest, no. Like Kapanen, Max Jones, Connor Brown. Like Connor Brown scored more than he did last year, and that's good. But he still gets a lot of looks, and he doesn't finish. There's a reason for that. There's a reason why he's in the bottom 6. I don't know. But again, I'm not overreacting over that loss last night.
No, there's nothing to overreact with. Like, I don't know what would the overaction be? What, the Oilers aren't going to do anything in the playoffs?
Like, if you're judging that that's not the team that's going to be playing in game 1 of the playoffs.
But where I would have time for a conversation of worry is the fact that, okay, if that's the team, those are what those guys can do against the Ducks. And the guys that come back aren't 100% healthy. How much better is it? Like, how close to a cup actually is this team this season? And that's where the concern, I think, from some might be is that, okay, if Connor, Leon, Ekholm aren't 100%, and it's hard to guess whether they're going to be or not, and if they're on any given night not producing, the other guys can't even beat the Ducks. So if game 2 against the LA Kings and McDavid and Draisaitl are just not feeling it that night, well, you can't count on anyone else to step up because, look, they couldn't even go beat the Ducks.
And they barely beat the Sharks.
That's where I could understand and have time for a conversation of worry around this team.
Yeah. Well, listen, let's be honest. If they don't have Connor or Leon or just one of them, they're in trouble.
Sure, but my point is that you have them. But what if they don't have it, like, because of the injuries that are bothering them in a certain game, they're not bringing it. They're not being the McDavid and Draisaitl we expect from the playoffs. The concern would be then you have nothing to point to that these guys have stepped up. That, like, look at, okay, in these games against the Ducks and the Sharks, the team really stepped up and dominated those 2 hockey games. That gives the Oiler fans confident that, this is a full team. Yeah. That is going to, go when it's not. But we know you have to roll 4 lines. You have to roll 3 line pairings or defensive pairings. That we can't say for the Edmonton Oilers going into the playoffs.
No,
it's top heavy.
It is extremely,
which is a fascinating spot from a year ago because I don't think we would have said that a year ago. I don't think now there was very healthy. So we saw things differently. People were able to play in their proper roles. But as we were going to the playoffs, we looked at this team and went, they're getting production from their forwards through all 4 lines. They're getting production from their defensive pairings for the most part. Nurse would have been somebody that got ripped on last year going to the playoffs. It was a bad year, so rightfully so. But that's how things have flipped so much in that sense in 12 months.
I got a question coming up in the next segment. I want to hear from the Nasties. Of course, hit us up on the Nasty Chat or on the River Cree inbox. The afternoon inbox is presented by the River Cree Resort and Casino. Tap 25 Restaurant, $18.99 prime rib special. Available 7 days a week from 11:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. Available for dine-in and takeout. Not available on show nights, but hit up the River Cree Resort and Casino. More Oilers talk on the way. Let's slam that thumbs up. We only hit like 70 yesterday. Lowest since the first week of September.
If you believe in the Oilers, hit that thumbs up.
Hit that thumb. Well, I don't know.
If you believe in the Oilers, hit that thumb up.
We're only at 22. It's been really, really slow. So slam that thumbs up. We're back after the break. Here's Koob, Sports Update.
Ten games in the NHL. Red Wings battle the Canadiens as Detroit fights to keep their playoffs hope alive, and the Bruins and Devils face off while the Avs and Golden Knights drop the puck. And from SKA St. Petersburg 2024 5th overall pick Ivan Demidov is joining Montreal for the remainder of the season after he scored 19 goals and 49 points in 65 KHL games this year. And for the Flames, Zane Parekh has been recalled from the Saginaw Spirit, with the former 9th overall pick having 107 points in 61 OHL games. And after winning 6-2 yesterday, the Jays take on the Red Sox once again with a full schedule in the MLB. Right now, the Tigers lead 5-0 on the Yankees at the top of the 5th inning. In Denver, the Nuggets have fired head coach Michael Malone and general manager Kelvin Booth with just 3 games left in the season. On the court tonight, Lakers and Thunder rematch. Golden State visits Phoenix. The Celtics tip off against the Knicks, while the Grizzlies and Hornets go at it on a 10-game NBA slate. This sports update is brought to you by Gimme Virtual Golf. And whether you're up for a casual round or a serious game, they've got membership and flex passes to fit your style. Visit Gimme Virtual Golf today and discover just how fun indoor golf can be. The show returns after a brief intermission. I'm Zachary Kubusch, and you're up to date.
Get your fix every single game with the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas. Whether it's breaking down the starting lineup, predicting key matchups, or diving deep into the game's biggest moments, Tom and Hernan are here to give you the best insight and analysis in the city. After the final horn, get the breakdown of every key moment, performance, and player reactions. It's your one-stop shop for all things game day. Catch the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Craving a late night snack? Hit the Banquet for our new late night happy hour. Sunday to Thursday, 9 p.m. till close. Try favorites like sweet and spicy lettuce wraps or our Banquet burger and fries, all at happy hour prices. The Banquet. Get real. Play hard.
Since 1952, William Huff has been the heartbeat of Edmonton's advertising world. From humble beginnings to a citywide powerhouse, we've been the go-to for signage from print to design and installation. Partnering with Edmonton's top sports franchises and major events, we've helped shape the city's global reputation. Our secret? Unmatched customer service, decades of experience, and a passion for excellence we call the William Huff Advantage. Visit us online at williamhuff.com.
Love is in the air. I love you. And you? And you? And you! Why choose between your beloved items? Sentinel Storage, keeping your treasures safe to be loved again. Try 4 weeks free. Details at sentinelstorage.ca.
.124. Welcome back to a dancing Matthew Iwanyk. TST Afternoons, Iwanyk, Koob, Salas. How you doing out there?
I'm good. Thank you for asking.
Hit us up. River Cree inbox. 780-218-9999. Nasty chat. Slam that thumbs up. You slackers. All right. I wanted to ask you a question in all our nasties. Okay. McDavid's been out a while.
Mm-hmm.
Breisaitl's been in and out of the lineup lately.
Mm-hmm.
When those two guys are out, for you, who has stepped up the most for the Edmonton Oilers?
You asked me a few weeks ago or a little bit ago, would have been Ryan Nugent-Hopkins.
Okay.
It'd have been one of those guys.
I mean, I think that's a good choice. Like, who's been a guy that
recency bias hurts me, and I don't really have someone for the last couple of games.
I mean, can we say Jeff Skinner?
Has he stepped up, or has he just been Jeff Skinner this entire season? Has that been what he's done this season?
I think he's around it. I think he's been good. I mean, Arvidsson has stepped up.
Yeah.
Pretty big time.
Like Skinner, the only reason I'm not saying Skinner hasn't been good. What I'm saying with Skinner is, has he not just been this consistent the entire year? And it's just, he keeps getting knocked out of lineup because of the coaching staff.
Yeah, that's a good point. So for you, who has stepped up the most for the forward group when 29 and 97 can't play? I'll ask you something else. Eventually, Max Jones and for me, Kasperi Kapanen will be out of the lineup when the two big dogs return. Okay, Maddie?
Okay.
Let's just say one of the other guys comes back as well. Let's say Trent Frederick. Who's the odd man out? Because I know a lot of fans want Brown and Rico and Podkolzin, and I just have a feeling it's going to be Jeff Skinner.
I don't.
Despite of what he's doing. And I don't agree with it. I just want to make that clear.
I think I think even just for the room type thing, the guy's never played in a playoff game. I don't think you can do that.
But
I don't think that. I think that would be a very poor thing to do as an organization. That one of the reasons he signed here was to get the chance to play in the playoffs. And if the first game you're immediately going to come like you're not playing.
But the coaches are coaching to win the game, not
100%.
Do you know what I mean? And
so you said who's already out? Who did you take out? Kapanen and
Jones and Kapanen.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just trying to think. And Dry and McDavid are back, and you're adding Frederick to this.
Yeah.
So, put Colson?
But, I mean, he's played top 6 most of the year.
Sure, but where's Frederick going to play? You put Frederick in the top 6?
Yeah.
Like, could you?
I'm okay with Pod Colson.
I know. I'm just trying to, because I'm just trying to figure out some sort of lines here.
It gets even more interesting if Kane and Frederick are back.
No, Kane's bottom 6.
Okay, but he's still back.
You can take out.
So I'll tell you 3 guys for sure that won't come out of the lineup. Adam Henrique, Matthias Janmark, and Connor Brown.
I was going to say Connor Brown maybe comes out.
No matter how poor they're playing, they will not come out of the lineup. And you can see it the way the coach uses them. He trusts them 120%. Those guys are not coming out. So it's either going to be Perry, Skinner, or Putt Colson. And right now I'd have to lean towards Skinner because...
Well, why not Janmark?
Are you kidding me? They're not taking Janmark out.
Why?
Because he plays a lot. He's a PK guy. The coach loves him.
That's true.
I'm
thinking the center, so he's got to move to a wing.
He was out there yesterday with 2 minutes left to tie the game, Matty. Matthias freaking Janmark.
Henrique, Hyman. Because I'm trying to see what the lines would be. So that's basically the question is how would you do these lines?
Yeah. And it's unfortunate, but I mean, and listen, Chris Knobloch last year, Matty, every decision and move he made, he knocked it out of the park. It all worked out. This year, it's gone the opposite way.
You were very right on that.
Yes. This year, he's missed a lot.
Just a couple comments in the nasty check. Kelvin, it says Jeff Skinner. Penner's Pancakes, I don't see how you could just take Jeff Skinner out right now. So it'd be Jones, Kapanen, and probably 13 or 28, to be honest. So that's Janmark or Brown. Perry should sit, says Joe. Adds Brown or Janmark. Dr. Nutsy Dielson. Nuge, Arvidsson, put Colson was a solid third line. Get a Hyman with McDavid and Kane. Give Draisaitl Frederick. Like,
yeah,
I could see it being Janmark. Because what wing does he go to? Because like your 4 centers, if everyone's out, it's McDavid, Draisaitl, Nuge, Henrique. You're going back to that.
Yeah.
So maybe that does make Janmark a little bit more expendable. For a game type thing. I'll say this over the course I'll say over the course of a series, Jeff Skinner will sit a game.
Yes.
There'll be a lot of roster movement.
I just think because Matty, like if everybody's healthy, Jeff Skinner's not playing in your top 6.
No.
So are they going to want him in the bottom 6 when they like their grinders that are 2-way guys?
But if you need scoring, like okay, well, so Frederick, McDavid, Hyman. Who do you play with Draisaitl?
Yeah, who do you have? Frederick, McDavid,
Hyman.
And then who do you have with Dry?
Well, I'm saying, who do you play with Draisaitl?
Arvidsson.
Okay.
And then it's probably going to be Pod Colson. Oh wait, is Kane healthy?
Well, I'm saying we're doing this without Kane right now.
Okay, so leave Pod Colson, Dry, and Arvidsson because that's the line he's loved all.
So then Nuge gets
probably Connor Brown.
And
Jeff Skinner.
Okay, so you're going to put Skinner there. And then it's Henrique. I have Perry Janmark.
Okay.
So then if that's the case, that means who do we have coming out of this lineup?
Jones, Kapanen. And there's got to be one. We're missing one.
Arvidsson, put Colson.
We have Brown in there.
I didn't even know who we taken out. Now I'm losing my mind.
So it's Kapanen, Jones, and we're missing one. Who is it?
John, we failed to put Colson as Draisaitl's wing this playoffs.
We failed already then, buddy, because you know what? He's been there the whole season. But people like it because he works hard, so I'd prefer production.
I don't know what we screwed up here. But we screwed something up.
We did.
Oh no, that makes sense.
No, because it's only
Yeah, I'm looking at one thing here. No, that you're taking. They have right now. They're at 11 guys. It doesn't have Philp in there.
yeah.
So you're taking away 2 guys, puts you down to 9, but you're adding 3 guys, which takes you to 12. So you still only have to take away 2 guys. The question is Kane.
Yeah, if Kane comes in,
That
who
was
comes
okay.
out?
So that's why. So it's Kane. So we didn't miss anything. So Kane has to go in now. Who comes out? And that's where I could see it being Janmark as opposed to Skinner potentially to start. Or I could see put Colson.
I just look at it.
You keep Skinner, you keep Janmark, and you take out Pud Colson, or it's Perry, or it's Brown. You can go even on anywhere on that way. Like, can Corey Perry do a full 7-game series? Can he be consistent producer and give you a lot through a 7-game series?
I think he can. He's played almost every game this year. He's limited minutes.
I think he'd be a guy that would be great for a sit once a series.
Well, I think Janmark would be great for a sit.
Once a series?
Mm-hmm.
Like we saw last year, Chris Knoblauch made quite a bit of roster moves. You know, there was the McLeod, he sat for a game, got him back in the lineup. And
that's a good point.
Like that's the one thing about Chris Knoblauch we can say is that he's not afraid to play around with his roster when it comes to putting guys in and out of the lineup.
Yeah.
And that includes goaltending.
Yes.
So, like, that's where I don't see how he would sit Skinner in the first game, because then you lose Jeff Skinner, I think, potentially, like the report, like, and it may be damaged right now to some people might say as they argue, but going to the playoffs, if Jeff Skinner's never been to the playoffs in the first game, you're like, yeah, sorry, dude, you're going to sit in the press box. Yeah. You may have issues for the rest of the playoffs with that guy. So I think he goes into game 1.
But
so now it comes down to, is it Brown, is it Pud Colson, is it Perry, is it Janmark that steps out if you need to get Kane in that line?
But I don't think NHL coaches get sentimental like that.
It's not being sentimental. It's about playing, you could lose that player and they don't trust you, and it could cause a little bit of you don't want any sort of animosity either. You don't want to create any of that. Like, that is going to be like it's how many games has he played in the National Hockey League without playing in a playoff game?
No,
and
I know.
in the first time, you're going to be like, nope, you've got to sit. Like that.
But it might happen, Matty, because he's coaching to win
absolutely.
game 1.
But you now have a rift that if you need to go to him, he's going to. You may have lost him to a degree mentally, like between the two.
But is there a conversation where he goes, Jeff, I'm going with this lineup for game 1. I'm going to get you in this series. I just don't know when, but you're going to play a game. But I think this lineup is the lineup I need to beat this team. There has to be that conversation. Because I don't think this is about Jeff Skinner. This is about the Edmonton Oilers.
100%. But I think there's other players that you could also go to and still field a roster that you still think could absolutely beat the team you're going up against, the LA Kings most likely. I don't think Jeff Skinner in and out of the lineup completely changes that in such a way that I do think you still have to play to a degree to keep that player mentally sharp, mentally going. I think you go with Jeff Skinner so he can get that first one done. Because here's the other thing to all of this, even for Chris Knoblauch, you don't know what a Jeff Skinner is in the playoffs. No one knows.
That's a good point. And what if he wins you the series because he gets hot?
Well,
he's a one-trick pony. He scores goals.
Like John saying playoff Janmark is different, though. I like him in the opening lineup. And that's the other part I will say, though, is like,
a lot of these guys stepped up in the playoffs.
But Jeff Skinner, we don't know what that playoff one is, and I would want to know what that is. I think it's way better, too, that they start on the road with the Edmonton Oilers. I think it's a great thing for them.
I like it, too. I think when they play at home, they get in their own heads and usually drop game 1.
and honestly, it's the pressure of losing game 1 is much better if you're a road team than you're a home team.
Yeah.
Home team, it's I got to go win game 2. We've got to even this up. We just lost home ice. Whereas if you go to LA, if you lose game 1, it's okay. Well, let's go get game 2. And even if you lose game 2 mentally, after that game, you can sit there, well, we haven't been home yet. Like, there's a lot more positives you could find even if things go wrong. But also, if you get that, when you get that first one, how good do you feel on the road? And knowing you still have to come back to Edmonton. You haven't played. I think for this team, it's way better that they're actually starting on the road.
You get in their head. JB says, Hyman, McDavid, Kane, Frederick, Draisaitl, Skinner, Podkolzin, Nuge, Arvidsson, Janmark, Henrique, Brown. I mean, I can get down with that.
So there's no Perry.
So there's no Perry, yeah.
There's no Perry.
And Perry can moonlight in, right? But Because Nuge, Podkolzin, and Arvidsson have looked really good, Maddie.
I agree. I'm not going to.
The 7 minutes we saw from Trent Frederick, I think he fit well with Draisaitl. I truly do. Skinner, he's there to shoot. Get to the net, muck it up, and then McDavid, Hyman, Kane. I mean, that's just a power line right there. What that means is if you lose the early games, you get a longer series from Buster.
True. But if you're losing, like my mentality of it is worst case, how do you deal with it mentally? The Oilers have historically been known for being a team to lose that first game of a playoff series. So I would rather be the away team if I'm losing that first game than a home team losing that first game. And the flip side, though, is I think just mentally, if you're an away team and you get that first win, like you're feeling good going into game 2, there's pressure's all on the road team or the home team. If you win that first game at home as the home team, you're feeling good.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a good, like it's a bad, like you're kind of just indifferent going like that. There's still a pressure because you don't want to lose home ice.
Of course, yeah.
That's kind of why I like the road start. You got to go in thinking you just need a split, and even 0-2 isn't the worst case scenario. Home team is you need to go make 2 to start. You need that quick start. This team sometimes struggles with those quick starts.
And if you missed it, Noah Philp has been recalled by the Oilers as on an emergency basis. He'll probably draw in tomorrow, so probably means no Draisaitl, McDavid for tomorrow again because they played a man short yesterday, right? So he's going to round up the 12 forwards. So it's going to be a tough one. I mean, St. Louis finally lost the game. They went on quite the heater there. It was 12 straight. Holloway's out. Sounds like he's out for a while here. So we're hoping to have a St. Louis guest on tomorrow and we can check in on Dylan Holloway. But we will see Philip Broberg. The game is an 8:22 puck drop. Another late one for all Oiler fans. But it should be a fun game. Listen, St. Louis catching the Oilers in points doesn't matter because they're not in the same division. So let's not stress about that. And then St. Louis has played, I think, 2 or 3 more games. But it's going to be a good test for this team that's more than likely going to be out with their 2 stars once again because Noah Philp has been recalled. So we will see what happens. We'll continue the Oilers conversation. We're going to talk some Montreal Canadiens as well. We're going to also visit the NBA as the Denver Nuggets make some shocking news, firing GM and head coach while they sit 4th in the conference and a pretty good damn team. So we'll see.
Scared of the Lakers.
They're scared of the Lakers, according to Matthew Iwanyk. A portion of this hour. Sorry, Matty. Trying to find it here. Brought to you by the Canadian Brew House. The showdown continues at the CBH. Wing flavors of the month. Dillionaire sauce versus passion fruit habanero. Cool versus fiery. Who will reign supreme? Come taste the madness at the Canadian Brew House. Up next, Heat and Smoke. Koob test our knowledge and yours when it comes to hockey and sports trivia. We're back after the break. Here's Koob Sports Update.
Last year's 5th overall pick, Ivan Demidov, is joining the Canadiens for the remainder of the season. He potted 19 goals and 30 assists for SKA St. Petersburg this year. In 10 games in the NHL, Canadiens and Red Wings have a date. Detroit 5th in the Atlantic Division, 6 points back from Montreal in the standings with 1 game in hand, while the Sens look for 4 straight wins when they play the Blue Jackets. In Calgary, Zane Parekh has been recalled from the Saginaw Spirit in the OHL. He had 107 points in 61 games this season. Just one WHL playoff matchup sees Edmonton hit the ice in Prince Albert for Game 7 after the Oil Kings lost the last 2 games. It's a full 15-game MLB slate. Jays and Red Sox rematch. Toronto winning 6-2 yesterday. Elsewhere, the Angels meet the Rays while the Rangers battle the Cubs. Earlier, it was the Yankees falling 5-0 to the Tigers. And with just 3 games left in the season, the Nuggets have fired general manager Calvin Booth and head coach Michael Malone. The schedule tonight has 10 games. Spurs taking on the Clippers, Timberwolves and Bucks tipping off for the Hawks. Meet the Magic. This sports update is brought to you by the Capital Care Foundation. Financial support deeply affects residents at Capital Care, and whether it's a one-time donation or monthly contribution, every penny counts. Find out how you can donate at capitalcarefoundation.net. Once we get back from the break, Heat and Smoke comes up next. I'm Zachary Kubusch, and you're up to date.
The EST Hangout.
Dwayne Rollison, when there was the three-headed goalie monster with Jeff Delorier and Devin Dubnyk, I got sent to go talk to Rolly and ask him how he felt about the whole situation. He's like, yeah, no problem. Like, he wanted to talk, and he's like, come with me. It was where Jeff or Devin couldn't hear what he had to say, and he just teed off, and I was like, oh, that was easy.
The EST Hangout, presented by Sentinel Storage. Weekday mornings 9 to 11, only on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
The River Cree Resort and Casino presents Bump and Grind Rewind, May 16th, featuring Drew Hill. With Cisco and Genuine, plus DJ Hartman B. Bump and Grind Rewind. Friday, May 16th at the River Cree Resort and Casino. Get your tickets now at rivercreeresort.com.
Hey Edmonton, ready to take advantage of lower rates and better pricing? South Fort Chevrolet in Fort Saskatchewan has you covered. From rugged trucks to sleek SUVs. And with over 40 years in business, you can trust that you're getting the best deal on your new ride. As the proud title sponsor of the Nielsen Show, EST listeners can drive a little to save a lot with South Fort Chevrolet's transparent pricing and down-to-earth sales team. Visit us today in Fort Saskatchewan or online at southfortchev.com.
Looking for quality building materials and friendly advice? Visit us at Windsor Plywood Leduc, family owned and locally run since 1993. From interior materials for doors, flooring, baseboards, and all the finishing touches to all you need for your outdoor projects like cedar lumber for decks and fences, plus all the plywood you'd need. Our full-time on-staff carpenter can help with anything odd-sized or custom, and from domestic hardwoods to exotic selections, we've got you covered. And if we don't have it, we'll track it down for you. Windsor Plywood Leduc. We're the experts you need to know.
144, welcome back to EST Afternoons here on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. Iwanyk, Salas, Kubusch in the house. Reminder, 3 to 6, Reed Wilkins, JML live on location. Kid sport event. It's going to be a fun one, Matty. You're going down there tonight, right?
Yeah, I got to head out right after this to go set up the event because Reed, Dusty, and the Four Brothers, it'll be done live there, but we will stream it.
I'll be watching
on Edmonton Sports Talk, on our YouTube, on our audio streams. So I got to go set that up.
Right. Slam that thumbs up for the Ford brothers. We're only at 41 again. Really slow. I don't know what's going on this week, people. I don't know what's going on.
Sorry.
It's not you. It's not you at all. We're just slacking. That's it. Coming up in the second hour, we'll head to Montreal. Talk some Ivan Demidov. It sounds like he won't be joining them because he needs a work permit first. So it's going to take some time. Maybe he's here for the playoffs. We'll see. Stu Cowan will join us from the Montreal Gazette at 2:20. And tomorrow we'll tee up Oilers Blues. Should be a fun one. And Thursday, I'm all alone. Just me and Koob. And then Friday,
I'm around if
off to Mexico.
If things go south, but they won't because you're too good of a pro.
Okay, there. Koob's going to be talking a lot that day. I'll tell you that much.
More than I already talk. I be yapping all the time.
I'll ask Koob a question. That's 10 minutes right there, man.
That's all you need. That could fill a full segment. That could fill a full hour. You ask me about chocolate milk, I could probably go about it for an hour.
Oh, boy. I'll just ask you about UFC.
Sure.
It might not be a bad guess.
Yeah, it's UFC 314 coming up.
All right.
Alex Volkanovski
Look
and
at us.
Diego Lopez. Yeah.
Look at us.
You all ready to go?
Boom. Setting up
the heat and the smoke.
And then Friday, it's Iwanyk and Koob. Mm-hmm. So that should be fun.
And then Gager and I for 4 days next week. We'll see how that goes.
Oh, you guys are beefing.
Did you hear what he said on the morning show?
I did.
Did you notice how he didn't bring up where he went wrong? He didn't talk about the fact that he spoiled you. He got mad at you for quote unquote spoiling Ovi. He was trying to shout at us as a commissioner. I share news with people. No, you spoiled it, dude.
Yeah, that had nothing to do with commission.
No, he was just a spoiler, and he just tries to attack, deflect away from the real issues there.
All right, let's get to heat and smoke. Of course, Koob tests Joaquin and I think I'm up 3-1. This will be just the side one. Iwanyk against Salas. Who do you got? We want you to play along well, because these are really hard questions. Koob does a really good job, Maddie.
I'm going to minimize my YouTube.
Yeah, you can look.
Well, you did a couple times.
No,
Hernan. I really never
didn't.
trust you, and I gotta apologize.
I'm going to go that far.
I'm on. Okay.
Wow, he's shutting the computer.
boy.
He's shutting the laptop.
Okay, but you can
Cell
see
phone right here.
You can see mine. Are you gonna make me do the same thing?
No, you can do whatever you want.
It's up to you. I haven't.
I don't want any questions of like if I win. I don't want anything coming up of like, oh, Matt cheated.
I'm guaranteeing a win right now. That's how confident.
You're guaranteed a win. Wow,
guaranteeing a win.
That's bold.
Hey, you've got home court advantage. I'm giving it to you to start.
All right, Koob. We'll start since he's the guest. Matthew will get first crack at your first question.
Right. So you guys get one answer each, and I guess you could steal. It's kind of like, what would you say, like Family Feud or whatever when it comes down to the final question.
Well, if you don't get it, I get a shot,
right?
and then if neither of us get it, we just move on.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully I have enough questions, boys. Usually I don't. No, I'm kidding. So Nikita Kucherov is one of 4 players all time to have 3 consecutive 80 assist seasons. Can you name the other 3 players?
I have to name 3?
3.
What the hell's wrong with this?
It's not that hard.
Sure it is.
Realistically,
All
if you
time?
think about it. All time, yeah.
Wayne Gretzky.
Okay, there's one.
Wait,
That one's an obvious one.
Yeah, I would have said Gretz.
Like, come on.
Well, I just like there's so many great players though. Now I only have 2 more to choose from, and if I get one wrong, it goes over to this Yahoo over here.
So just say the 3, and then Koob will say if you got them all right. If not, we move on, because then I won't know which ones you selected are correct.
Oh well, he already gave me one.
Yeah, Wayne Gretzky's a give me, though, right?
Yeah.
Gretzky, Curry, and Lemieux.
Hernan?
I'll go Gretzky, Lemieux, Adam Oates.
No, it is not those players. It's Wayne Gretzky, Bobby Orr, and Paul Coffey.
Jeez.
I knew there'd been another Oiler from the 80.
Mm-hmm.
Boo! You suck!
Bad job, boys.
Bobby Orr. Interesting.
2
Yeah, I know.
defensemen, eh? I would have never.
Well, the
thought.
assist makes sense for a defenseman.
Yeah, a forward's gonna have
Feeding it up.
assists.
Yeah, you don't really think about that, though. And Paul Coffey kind of snuck in there for me. Like, that wouldn't be a guy on
He
my
would have been my
radar.
second choice from that. I was in my mind. It was either Curry or Coffey.
Mhm.
Curry
I
was the
don't know.
goal scorer, but
Yeah, good. That's another good question, man.
well, he's made 3.
Now you know.
Have to get all 3 right though. Like, what is that?
Well, I thought it'd be a little bit easier. You know, Wayne Gretzky's a gimme.
It would
if I
be
said
easier.
name one,
Yeah, that's easier. You can't say it's
that's
easier if
too
we go 3.
easy. I'm bringing the heat and the smoke today, okay,
Clearly.
boys?
Okay,
All right,
my
So
turn.
It's your
There's
turn.
only 11 goalies that overlapped between Ovechkin
Name
and...
all 11.
yeah, right? Name 3. No, I'm kidding. Between Ovi and Gretzky scoring on the same 11 goaltenders. Can you name... I'm not going to make it name 3. Name one of those goaltenders. So there's only been 11 goaltenders all time who have been scored on by both Wayne Gretzky and Alex Ovechkin.
Oh man, great question. Roberto Luongo.
Let me see here. No.
Crap.
There's one that's coming to mind. I know it's not Curtis Joseph because he got that can that he never was scored on, which I found, but that was a cool little thing that Budweiser was doing there. So it's that goalie that was kind of late 90s. Well, not late, early it's got to get to 2000 and something. I'm just trying to figure if he played. Oh no, he would have played. Martin Brodeur.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Martin Brodeur on the list there as well. Dominic Hasek, Chris Osgood.
Because he was
Fell
there,
for him,
and
yeah.
Brodeur was...
Patrick Raw.
Was not on there. Habby Boulin is.
Waugh would have retired before that 04-05 lockout, I believe. Like, and that's somebody have to go and Brodeur was the goalie for 2010 Olympics. if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, that would have made sense. Yeah, Martin Brodeur. So I'm up 1-0.
Played a long time. Yes, you are.
Give us the list.
Yeah, so Martin Brodeur, Oli Kolzig, Dominic Hasek, Chris Osgood, Ed Belfour, Garth Snow, John Sebastian Jaguar, Kevin Weeks, Mike Dunham, Nikolai Habibulin, and Sean Burke.
I was going to go with Jean-Sebastien Giguère. I didn't know if he was playing, though, if Gretzky would have got to him.
Damn it.
I know. Well, it'll defer to you now.
He gets to pick a go again?
Well, so he started with it, right?
Yeah,
because
and then
you
I
guys
stole.
Both sucked on the first one. You stole and won, so whoever gets it right has to defer.
Whatever.
Yeah, the rules are weird. I don't know how we made them, but that's how they are, and that's how they're going to be.
Back and forth.
That's
but
probably
I got a
easier,
chance to steal. But this is okay. So this is Hernan's turn. So if you get it wrong, you get a. Okay, whatever.
Basically, you have the advantage a little bit.
Let's try to make parody in the heat and smoke. That's
okay.
It's all about parody.
Yeah. I know he's the third best Tecmo player in the office, maybe fourth. So I have to kind of give him something, right? All right. So which goalie did Ovechkin score the most goals against in his career? And he scored against a lot of goalies. But there's one goalie in specific that has let in more goals than any other goaltender.
So it's got to be in the division because they played a lot when he came into the league. Holy crap, that's a great question.
I know, and you don't have much time.
Who's in their division again?
You're running out of time, dude.
Yeah, you got about 5 seconds here.
Henrik Lundqvist.
He is second.
Oh, what a guess.
Marc-Andre Fleury.
Yes.
Damn it. Why didn't I pick that?
So Henrik Lundqvist allowed 24 Ovechkin goals and Marc-Andre Fleury 28. And then it's Carey Price, Kerry Lettinen, Cam Ward, Ryan Miller, Andrei Pavelek.
I thought it was too obvious. Yeah. That's why I didn't go there.
Wrote it down. MAF.
Son of
MAF.
Did you know? Did you hear that in the office?
No, I just wrote that down as he was thinking.
Good.
Because I didn't want to.
Because I tested these with
How would I cheat with a piece of paper?
Damn it. I knew it was Marc-Andre Fleury.
Well, you didn't.
Go with your gut, Hernan.
And Maddie, you're complaining about the deferring rule.
Well,
you're up 2-0 right now.
Yeah, well, he shouldn't have had a shot at getting that point. I would have known it right away, and now it should be his. But he gets to go again, apparently.
Now, the way I build the questions, it almost makes it a little bit easier because you have to, if you, with the name 3, right?
Big Uke says, not your show, Maddie. Deal with the rules.
I am dealing with the rules. I think it's just, I could still make my comments, Big Uke. Why are you looking at the nasty? Why are you looking at that?
Well,
how do you know what Big Uke said?
Because I tuned in after the question, though.
I believe Hernan at that point. But Maddie, if you have any suggestions, you can write them down and put them in the box, okay?
Okay, let's go.
All righty. How many goalies has Ovechkin scored against? I need the exact number.
Or closest.
Or closest. Let's go closest, sure.
It's
Usually
his turn,
we go
is
with
it
the
not?
tie. Yes, so you got it right, Hernan. Sorry. Yes. You get the go. I need the exact number, though. And whoever gets it closest, sure, why not? To give some points away.
Crap, that's a tough one.
I know. I'm not really going to tell you how many goaltenders he played against, but he played against a lot, right? There's, 28 there was that had the Budweiser Zero can, who didn't allow a goal. So, yeah.
You're just paying attention, Brendan.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes. Thank you. Okay, I'm you got 10 seconds here, bud.
I don't know what to say.
Well,
pick
say
a number.
something. Come on. Great radio.
81.
81 is wrong. Maddie?
186.
You're 3 off. So you're going to get the point.
Sweet.
183. Ilya Sorokin was the 183rd goaltender, and I think
so that's 3-0 Matthew right now.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Well, you shouldn't get a point. You didn't get it right.
You literally just said
who's the closest.
I meant 181.
You didn't say 181.
You didn't say 181. You were right here, right?
You said 81.
I said 181. It just didn't catch the mic.
Nasties.
The mic didn't catch it.
Did he say 181?
No, he didn't. I said a 1. Say 1, and then you just went 81.
How many questions are left?
There's quite a few, so Maddie can go up like 8-0 if he wanted to.
I'm up 3-0.
I know. You could go up 8-0.
I just wanted
if
to
you
say
wanted
that.
to. All right, so now this player, out of all the active players currently under contract and still playing in the NHL, who has the longest Ironman streak? Hernan?
That's a good question.
Ryan Suter.
Ryan Suter is second on the list.
Damn it.
Just longer than Ryan Suter.
Yeah. Which is quite wild. Yeah. And it's over like almost twice as much.
I'm going to give myself a point because I've been close.
I feel like
You're not getting a point.
I forgot. I don't even know. Jamie Benn. It's not.
I think, what was it? Jamie Benn? Yeah, no, it's not Jamie Benn. Well, I guess you guys both got that wrong. It's Brent Burns.
Right.
919
I remember
games.
Frank Saravelli tweeting about that just a couple weeks ago or whatever.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, especially the way he plays and stuff.
Should I get a point because I got second?
You didn't. You
How about
said
no?
for that other one, whoever's closest gets a point.
I was close.
You didn't even get it close. Ryan Suter isn't the same guy. You can't get it close
for
with
this
the
one.
player.
You did, for the last question, you said whoever's get closest for that number. You stop trying to gain points here.
All right. And Nick Suzuki, surprisingly enough, is third on the list. 450 games on his Ironman streak.
Wow.
And Ryan Suter, 532 games played in a row. All right. So there are two goaltenders who hold this record. Martin Brodeur is one of them. So I'm crossing him out because it's too obvious. Which goaltender has the most wins in a single season?
Can you repeat that? Sorry.
Which goaltender in the NHL has the most wins in the regular season? In a single season.
Like in a single season?
In a single season. How many
regular
wins?
season?
Yes. I could have worded that better. I'm sorry.
And this
it'll
is
stay with
active.
her.
No.
Just all time. Martin Brodeur is not active. It shares this top spot in a single season.
I'll
with the most
go.
wins.
So I need two?
Just one goalie. There's two goalies that share it. I knocked one of them off, Martin Brodeur. Who is the other goalie who has the most wins in a single regular season?
Grant Fuhr.
Grant Fuhr is actually, he's not even
No,
top
didn't
10.
Stu just pass him for franchise record wins in a season?
Okay, I take that back.
He's not even top 10.
You can't take it back,
can't.
dude.
Okay.
Miko Kiprasov.
Wow. Kiprasov is a good pull. He's sixth.
Really? Because he had that year he played 72 games. That's why I was going with Kipper.
Yeah, it's Braden Holtby, boys.
Oh, yeah.
Braden Holtby, 48 wins, and Martin Brodeur
Well, I just
also had
thought
it.
the Oilers, because they won so much, that he won a lot.
Braden Holtby did it in 66
But they had two
games.
goalies.
Hey, is Hellebuck close to breaking that?
Hellebuck is 44th. Yeah, he's 4 wins away from breaking it. 60 games played. Technically, if he wins the next 4, he would do it in less games than Braden Holtby. He did it in 66 games, and then Martin Brodeur, he did it in 78 games for 48 wins in a single season.
Let's do one more. Maddie's got this one.
Okay, well, who is
the shutout here?
Yeah. Who is you guys both got it wrong, so I guess it'll stay with Hernan, right? No?
Sure.
Maybe
No,
so.
then it goes to me, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it
Oh, no,
stayed
it's your
with him
guys'
last
rules.
time.
It's your guys' rules.
It stayed with Hernan
Okay,
last
go
time,
back to
so
Hernan. He
just
needs the help.
roll.
Any help he
I
can
know.
get, I guess.
I know he does.
Fair enough.
Who is the last Montreal? Sorry, let me restart. So Nick Suzuki has 80 points in the season this year. Who is the last Montreal Canadien to record 80 points in a season before Suzuki? And it's been a while, which is very surprising because he had Carey Price.
Vincent Damphousse.
Vincent Damphousse, no, he did it in 96, 97, but there's a player after that who also recorded 80 or more points in a season.
I'm down to 2.
I know one you're going to say.
Who are you going to? Okay.
A Russian guy.
Yeah, starts with a K?
Yeah.
It was one I was going to say, but that's not the one I was going to go with.
Okay.
I'm going with Saku Koivu.
No, I think your gut feeling would have been
Kovalev?
right. Yeah, it's Alexei
I was
Kovalev.
going to say Kovalev.
Yeah.
You know where you
I was
screwed me?
between
Because you
those
said
two.
it was a long time ago. So I went a little further.
That is a long time ago.
No,
I was 3.
But Damphousse is longer.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I said it was a while.
It was
I said
debating
it was a
in my
while.
mind. I was going to be Kovalev or it was going to be Koivu. Those were the two I was debating.
In 07, 08, he had 84 points, and Nick Suzuki has 84 points.
Do you know what's
right
great
now.
about that though is I didn't need it because I shut out Hernan.
Yeah, I know.
You know what this
3-0.
was? You know what this was, guys?
This is like an anaconda taking down a pig.
Ooh, you suck.
Maybe I shouldn't be so cocky. Hey, B-Money. Okay? I guarantee to win.
Oof.
But you know what? I had all the answers. I just second-guessed myself.
You didn't have all the
I
answers.
knew Marc-Andre Fleury,
But you didn't.
but I knew it.
But you didn't. Because if you did, you would have said it and you would have got the point.
This
But you
guy's
didn't,
full of warm
and I got the
chocolate
point.
milk. sick of it.
Oh, God.
Hernan, I'm disappointed. Good job, Matthew.
Thank you.
It doesn't take away. It doesn't
on
take away.
his show.
I'm disappointed in myself.
The newcomer came out and stole the show.
I took a beating there, boys. Holy smokes. That was no bueno.
Good job, Maddie.
Hernan went up in smoke. Hernan went up in smoke.
Ouch.
I rarely lose at this game, so.
You don't play me at this game.
Oh, boy. It's a good test. Good test.
Beat you in the last 2 games of Tecmo. Beat you at Heat and Smoke. Jeez. I'm just a winner against Hernan.
All right. That does it for hour 1. Fun little show here. Talked a lot about the Oilers. We'll continue the Oilers talk. We'll also go to the NBA. We'll go to Montreal, talk Canadiens as well in hour number 2. Keep it locked here on Edmonton Sports Talk. It is EST Afternoons. Iwanyk, Salas, Koob. Hit the thumbs up. We're still not halfway there, which is really disappointing. But whatever. Whatevs. Don't hit the thumbs up. I don't care anymore. Subscribe if you haven't done so. And also follow us on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. And hit us up on the River Korean Box 780-218-9999. We're back after the break.
Get your fix every single game with the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas. Whether it's breaking down the starting lineup, predicting key matchups, or diving deep into the game's biggest moments, Tom and Hernan are here to give you the best insight and analysis in the city. After the final horn, get the breakdown of every key moment, performance, and player reactions. It's your one-stop shop for all things game day. Catch the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
You've heard the name, but what does it mean? For over 66 years, William Huff Advertising has supplied signage from screen printing to digital to LED with design, production, and install in-house. It's a one-stop shop for all your signage needs. Edmonton owned and operated, William Huff has been trusted by the biggest companies and teams in the City of Champions and many others across the country to do the job. If you're looking for a way to get the word out about your company or event, they are the answer. Go to www.williamhuff.com. Their results speak for themselves.
Join our very own Dustin Nielsen, Trey and Terrell Ford of the Edmonton Elks, and other special guests on Tuesday, April 8th at the Bell in Scona for Edmonton Sports Talk's Bids for Kids, presented by GS Construction. A special live on-location show featuring a delicious appetizer buffet, silent auction, 50-50, and more. This year, Kids Sport is proudly celebrating 30 years of making a positive impact in our community. Don't miss out and join this special celebration to help continue to support those in need. Tickets are limited. Find them today at kidsportbidsforkids.com. That's kidsportbidsforkids.com.
Celebrate your birthday at the Banquet Bar. Enjoy great drinks, amazing vibes, and unforgettable memories. Download the Banquet app and get a free pizza pie on your birthday. Book your party today at thebanquetbar.com.
Looking for a winning strategy for your retirement? Contact me, Joaquin Gage at K4 Financial, where expertise meets dedication. I will always look for a careful approach to your retirement, ensuring your financial future is secure. From tailored strategies to clear, actionable advice, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Don't leave your future to chance. Get in touch with me, Joaquin Gage, today at k4financial.ca or email joaquin.gage@k4financial.ca to start planning for a brighter future and a more secure retirement.
10 games in the NHL. Red Wings battle the Canadiens. Detroit fighting to keep their playoffs hopes alive, and the Bruins and Devils face off while the Avs and Golden Knights drop the puck. And with the Canadiens in a playoff spot, Montreal's 5th overall pick from last season, Ivan Demidov, will join the team after he potted 19 goals, recording 49 points in the KHL this season. For the Flames, Zane Parekh has been recalled from the Saginaw Spirit with the 9th overall pick, having 107 points in 61 OHL games. And just one WHL playoff matchup, Edmonton hits the ice in Prince Albert for Game 7 after the Oil Kings dropped the last 2 games, and after winning 6-2 yesterday, the Jays take on the Red Sox once again with a full schedule in the MLB. From Denver, the Nuggets have fired head coach Michael Malone and general manager Kelvin Booth. Just 3 games remaining in their regular season. On the court, the Lakers and Thunder rematch. Golden State visits Phoenix. The Celtics tip off against the Knicks, while the Grizzlies and Hornets go toe-to-toe on a 10-game NBA slate. I'm Zachary Kubusch. That was your sports update. The second hour of EST Afternoons starts right now.
Hour 2 here on EST Afternoons on Edmonton Sports Talk. We're coming to you live from the William Huff Studios in the west side of the city. Oilers off today. They're traveling back to Edmonton. They'll have a morning skate tomorrow and then take on the St. Louis Blues. 8 o'clock. 8:22 puck drop. It's going to be another late one, but we'll be on with the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show at 7. And then after the game, we'll rejoin you for the post-game show. Should be a good one. Noah Philp recalled if you missed it. That's all the Oiler news we have as they're traveling today. Stu Cowan will join us from the Montreal Gazette in about 13 minutes' time. We'll talk about Ivan Demidov joining the Montreal Canadiens, their pursuit of locking down that last wildcard spot. Maddie, they've had some brilliant performances. Rookie Lane Hudson probably going to win the Calder. Goaltending's been good. Nick Suzuki's been awesome. Cole Caulfield, amazing. So it's great to see that not only the Montreal Canadiens, but the Ottawa Senators looking like they're primed to make their return to the postseason, Matthew. Like always, hit us up on the Nasty Chat. Slam that thumbs up and hit us up on the River Korean Box 780-218-9999. Are you, well, I don't know if excited is the right word, but it's always fun seeing a lot of Canadian teams in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's cool that we're getting different one. I'll say this: the Sens is fine, cool. There's something about seeing a playoff game in Montreal. Oh. There's something about watching the opening as the players come out and everything about it. And when you add that to playoffs, there's something electric about the Bell Center during playoff time. That's the one that I really enjoy. Ottawa, it's nice. Toronto, whatever. Hopefully they lose to Ottawa in the first round. Hopefully they can meet. Winnipeg is a cool atmosphere as well. It's nice, but I don't want any of them to win the Stanley Cup except for the Edmonton Oilers from an Edmonton Oilers fan.
Of course.
I want the Oilers to break that Canadian record if I'm an Oilers fan. And if it's not the Oilers, I want every other Canadian team to be knocked out.
Kasperi Kapanen on the Nasty Chat. Thumbs up, but seriously, out of all the EST shows, this one piles on the hate the most. Kasperi Kapanen? We love you, Kasperi, but you just don't do anything on the ice. Sorry. And you had a horrible turnover yesterday. That led to a goal.
So did Evan Bouchard.
I know.
Well, give away. Hey, that's a turnover, yeah.
But we've seen that all year from Bouchard.
Yeah.
I expect more.
What do you expect? What do you expect more from Kapanen?
If I would have told you in October that Ottawa, Montreal would be in the playoffs and Vancouver would be out, what would you have said?
I would have been like, I could see Vancouver being out. I didn't see the other one.
You thought I didn't see any way Vancouver was out. I thought they were going to be even better this year.
There was two guys that Trev, Zach, and I did in the summer. And I had them fourth in the Pacific, and I said that's a team that's ready for a step back. Last year was a mirage to me of the Vancouver Canucks. I have seen teams do that. I've seen the Calgary Flames recently do that. Like,
you know who they were?
With Mike Smith, there was the Calgary Flames. It was the Colorado Avalanche with Patrick Waugh, a team that was too good for 1 year. That they had good PDO, they got the luck in their way. The coach was getting the most out of the team, but I saw a team that it couldn't sustain going to the next year, and then they had a lot of changes in the offseason. They lost some players, and they panicked and, I think gave too big of a contract to DeBrus because they'd lost players, and I absolutely saw the Vancouver Canucks missing the playoffs this year. I did not see the Montreal and Ottawa making it. And that's where, to your question, if you said that, I would have been like, well, yeah, I could see Vancouver doing it, but you're nuts thinking Ottawa and Montreal are ready to be in the playoffs.
You know who the Canucks were last year? They were the 2017 Edmonton Oilers. A little bit ahead of their time. Got career years from a lot of their players. Until the Demko injury in mid-March, they didn't have any injury issues. I think it's so, because compare it to the Oilers. The following year, Maddie, everybody picked them to be in the Stanley Cup final.
They were Stanley Cup favorites.
After the first game where I think they beat Calgary, everything fell off. And look at Vancouver. Like, this whole season's been a mess for them with the JT Miller, Pedersen stuff. Just everything. The injuries to Demko, injuries here, the trades they made. It's been a mess. And I saw some Vancouver media saying that this team was poised to go to the Stanley Cup final, which is fine. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion and thoughts and all that. But I was like, again, I thought they would be a playoff team. I didn't think they were a Stanley Cup contender.
And I thought they were just poised for the draw. In my preseason predictions that we did, like just on two guys, we talked about the Pacific. I had Vegas winning it. I had the Oilers second. I had the Kings third.
Yeah.
I thought the Kings were going to be good this year. And I thought the Canucks were going to miss the playoffs.
I thought the Kings would take a step back because they got Darcy Kemper.
And I thought that was an upgrade. It's an upgrade. It was an upgrade from last year.
No, an upgrade, but I didn't think it was the upgrade that they needed. I didn't think Warren Fogle would have the season he has.
I don't think anyone saw that one. I didn't think that Rob Blake saw that one.
Well, and then they lost Doughty for 3 months. I was like, yeah, this team's going to fall off a cliff, and they did not. So good on them. Vegas is always good. Calgary, I can say this, and you can go back to the tape. Gager and I said don't sleep on Calgary all year, and they're probably going to miss out, but they competed, man. They're still right there.
I'm surprised they did it for a season. Like, when they got off to a good start to the year, you're like, hey, when are the wheels going to fall off?
Yeah.
And they didn't.
They didn't.
And that's a credit to the organization there. That, like, I think there was a lot of people that were like, this is a team that's going to go rebuilding for a long time, and they're going to be wandering the desert for a long time. And they got close. Now the question is, did they screw up a draft pick? And we've seen that from the Oilers for a long time prior to when they eventually got Taylor Hall. And we've seen from the Oilers always been that middling team. Did they screw that up? Can this be replicated next year? Can Wolf replicate what he's performed, this season next year? If that happens, I think the Flames, after a couple moves, they'll be a playoff team once again, and they won't have to wander away. But as most things, it comes down to the goaltending.
That's the thing. I talked with Gager about this, and I think we had Salim on a few weeks ago. And the Flames are always in that spot. And I'm sure for their fans, is because they're still not out. They're only 4 points back of the Wild, and they have a game in hand. Okay. But the Flames are always that team that's right there. And I know it's probably exciting for their organization and their fan base. But if they're out, again, they're the middle of the pack, Maddie. They're not moving forward. They're not moving back. They're just stuck right there with not a high draft pick. You know what I mean? They're not getting that playoff money.
But that's like last year. Yeah, they're decent last year still, too. Like, they weren't bottomed out. It's a step forward from last season. The question is, can you take one more step forward? If we're talking about the Calgary Flames in the same spot next year, then I'd be annoyed if I was a Calgary Flames fan. Then it'd be the situation of like, we're always middling in this one spot. What does it take to get back into the playoffs? But from last year, an improvement. If they can improve from this year to next year, which makes them a playoff team, you didn't have to bottom out to get there.
Yeah. It's interesting though, but
what do the Flames and the Wild have the rest of the way?
So it sounds like Vancouver and Calgary were the only Canadian teams out.
Yep.
I didn't expect Calgary to be there. I'm very impressed with how they've played this year. I did expect Vancouver to be there. I did not expect Montreal to be there. I think Ottawa for me was kind of like the wild card. Like I was like, oh, they could take that next step. They added some good pieces. So it's going to be interesting. And did you say Toronto or Ottawa?
Right now, that would be the first round playoff match.
I would put a lot of dough on Ottawa to win. That's serious. That's serious because with Brady Tkachuk, oh boy.
You know what's crazy though is Ottawa's also only 8 points back of them. Ottawa's only 2 points back of passing Florida. Or like tying Florida for third in the Atlantic. Maybe Florida drops into a wild card spot.
Do you have the schedule? So, big game on Friday, Wild Flames.
Yes. The only thing is the Wild have to me they're equal schedules.
Okay.
The Wild go San Jose, Calgary, Vancouver, Anaheim. Calgary's got Anaheim, Minnesota, San Jose, then Vegas, LA. So they each got a San Jose and Anaheim in there. The question is, can the Flames go take care of business against Vegas and LA? The benefit for the Flames is, how many more games left do the Golden Knights have after that Calgary game? They go play Vancouver. They're both road trips. And then they go, then they take down the LA Kings. The LA Kings are taking They're playing. They'll rest people. The LA Kings.
Yeah.
So that's not as daunting of a task.
I think Vegas will too.
But that's the second last game. I don't know if Vegas will do it for 2 straight.
They might.
And the reason that I agree with the part agree with that is that they have to go to Vancouver and Calgary. It's a double road trip, Calgary, Vancouver.
Yeah.
Maybe they just leave some guys in Vegas and say, we don't, just sit here. We'll see you in a couple of days.
Yeah, that's interesting. Calgary's not out of it. Good on them for sticking with it. That loss in overtime hurt a lot the other night, but man, that's good for them.
Well, it's anyone that's worried about the Oilers making the playoffs then too. One of those teams is going to have to lose a hockey game between Calgary and Minnesota. Helps the Oilers a bit too.
Is this what Hernan is like with Tecmo, Jeremy?
When you lose.
I'm a sore loser.
Again, I'm going to speak to Jeremy here for a quick second. He lost a 10-point game to Dusty last week, and he's arguing that it should have been a 3-point loss.
Should have been.
It's still a loss, Jeremy, and yet he's arguing about the semantics of how he lost. It was over.
Screwed.
And it was a last-second touchdown, so it's not even like it was earlier in the game and impacted it. He should have lost by 10, but on the last second, maybe, and he still wouldn't even scored that touchdown. He'd have to still go make the play. So yes, that is how Hernan is.
I'm old, man. I'm not changing my ways. Sorry. I was going to say Marc-Andre Fleury, though.
But you didn't.
I know.
I was going to say Kovalev, but I went with Koivu, so I only get 3 points. I don't get 4 points. You see how that works?
Yeah. And then back to our earlier conversation. No name on this one. Do lineups really matter? Knobloch will go nuclear 10 minutes into every game anyway. Yeah, you're probably right. So we were breaking down the lines for a good segment there for the playoffs, and
but they do, because if the lines are going, he doesn't go to the nuclear option.
Yeah, and for most of the seasons, the lines haven't been going. That's why he goes nuclear, but he goes to it too quick.
Sure, I'll give you that. It's maybe too quick, but if the lines are going, he doesn't change.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That is fair. All right, the afternoon inbox is presented by the River Cree Resort and Casino. Check out the Alan Jackson Experience, April 18th. It's the experience. All right?
And I got some breaking news for the next segment.
Oh.
From the local area.
Oh. Get your tickets now. rivercreeresort.com or at the River Cree box office. Stu Cowan joins us next from the Montreal Gazette. We'll talk all things Canadiens next, and Maddie with some breaking news as well. Stay tuned. Hit that thumbs up. Here's Koob, Sports Update.
The Oilers have recalled Noah Philp from the Condors on an emergency basis after Edmonton played shorthanded, dressing 11 forwards and 6 defensemen last night in Anaheim. Philp has 15 goals and 30 points during 50 AHL games this season. 10 games in the NHL tonight. Canadiens and Red Wings have a date. Detroit sits 5th in the Atlantic Division, 6 points back from Montreal in the standings, 1 game in hand, while the Sens look for 4 straight wins when they play the Blue Jackets. In Calgary, Zane Perrick of the Saginaw Spirit has been recalled from the OHL after having 107 points in 61 games this season. And Ivan Demidov, last year's 5th overall pick, is joining the Canadiens for the remainder of the season. He has 19 goals, 30 assists for SKA St. Petersburg in the KHL this year. And just one WHL playoff matchup sees Edmonton hit the ice in Prince Albert. That's Game 7, with the Oil Kings dropping the last 2 games. It's a full 15-game MLB slate. Jays and Red Sox rematch. Toronto winning 6-2 yesterday. There's 2 games live right now, both of them scoreless. White Sox and Guardians at the top of the first. Well, the Mets and Marlins also sit in the first inning. With just 3 games left in the season, the Nuggets have fired general manager Calvin Booth and head coach Mike Malone. The schedule has 10 games. Spurs taking on the Clippers, Timberwolves and Bucks tipping off, while the Hawks meet the Magic. After the break, we head to Montreal to talk some Canadiens. I'm Zachary Kubusch, and you're up to date.
The River Cree Resort and Casino presents Bump and Grind Rewind, May 16th, featuring Drew Hill. With Cisco and Genuine, plus DJ Hartman B. Bump and Grind Rewind. Friday, May 16th at the River Cree Resort and Casino. Get your tickets now at rivercreeresort.com.
Love is in the air. I love you. And you? And you? And you! Why choose between your beloved items? Sentinel Storage, keeping your treasures safe to be loved again. Try 4 weeks free. Details at sentinelstorage.ca.
Hey Edmonton, ready to take advantage of lower rates and better pricing? South Fort Chevrolet in Fort Saskatchewan has you covered. From rugged trucks to sleek SUVs. And with over 40 years in business, you can trust that you're getting the best deal on your new ride. As the proud title sponsor of the Nielsen Show, EST listeners can drive a little to save a lot with South Fort Chevrolet's transparent pricing and down-to-earth sales team. Visit us today in Fort Saskatchewan or online at southfortchev.com.
Strike up some fun at the Banquet Bar. Bowling, drinks, and a great time with friends where the good times roll. Whether you're here to bowl or just hang out, the Banquet Bar is your go-to spot. Get real, play hard at the Banquet.
Got some gently used furniture or home goods that need a new home? Find Edmonton is here to help. Every month we furnish over 100 homes to those transitioning out of homelessness, and we need your gently used furniture and home goods. Drop off at 5120 122nd Street or call for free local pickup. Just visit findedmonton.com to learn how your donations can help create a home for someone in need. Plus shop our thrift store, in-store or online, with proceeds benefit those moving out of homelessness through housing supports. Visit us at findedmonton.com. Find Edmonton, supporting our community one home at a time.
$2:23. Welcome back to EST Afternoons, Hour 2, Tuesday afternoon. It's been a fun show. Oilers coming off a 3-2 loss to the Anaheim Ducks last night. Got a little feisty at times. Olivier Rodrigue played pretty well. I mean, I don't think anyone could sit here and say he was bad. I thought he made some good saves.
Yeah, I heard you say that he should be game one starter for the playoffs.
I never said that. But good for the kid. Nice to see his family there. It's too bad they couldn't pull out the win for him. But yeah, I like what I saw. I mean, one was a breakaway. One was a one-timer on a pizza given up by Bouchard. The other one's Bouchard getting walked by Cutter Gauthier. So I'm not going to be too harsh. St. Louis tomorrow. Maddie, you had some breaking news?
Fresh off the presses from Murray McCourt of the Ranch. We're officially opening next Tuesday, which would be on the 15th. Bookings will open up Thursday, so that's this week on the 10th at 1 p.m. So the Ranch Golf and Country Club, it is opening up a week today, next Tuesday, the 15th, if you want to book your tee time, and it is going to book up quick. Ranch always books up quick at the start of the year. Thursday, 1 p.m., ranchgolf.com, or you can try giving them a call. I know from last year, Murray was saying, like, you're just going to have a better time, like, because they can only answer so many phones at once.
Yeah.
Get online, theranchgolf.com, to book your tee time on Thursday for next Tuesday. Forecast for next Tuesday, I don't know, I haven't seen. It just looks beautiful for a while. Like, next Monday is 14.
All right. So some great
Let's
news.
get golfing.
The Ranch next Tuesday. All right. We got Stu ready to go here, Koob. All right. We're joined by Stu Cowan from the Montreal Gazette. And Stu, I swear we didn't plan this, but breaking news today for the Montreal Canadiens ahead of their big game against the Detroit Red Wings. Let's start there, Stu. The Canadiens have agreed to terms on a 3-year entry-level contract with their last year's pick, Ivan Demidov here. Stu, I know this just happened, but what's kind of the timeline we're looking at, and what can he bring to this team that looks like they will be heading to the postseason?
Well, this comes as a bit of a shock because when Kent Hughes met with us after the March 7th NHL trade deadline. He was asked about Demidov. He said his contract ran through May 31st and that we wouldn't see him until next season. St. Petersburg SK, his team was eliminated last Friday from the playoffs, and I guess there was some negotiations back and forth between the Canadiens and the team, and it's announced this afternoon that he has indeed reached an agreement to get out of his KHL deal and has signed an entry-level contract with the Canadiens. So I imagine we will see him here at some point this week. They play tonight against the Red Wings, and then they don't play again until Friday, Saturday, back-to-back road games against Ottawa and Toronto. So I'd be surprised if we don't see him in the lineup. They got 5 games left. I expect to see him in the lineup before the end of the season.
We're looking at the Canadiens, and they're up 6 points on the Red Wings for that last playoff spot. A game tonight would get to 8. For a lot of people, this is a surprise that we're watching the Montreal Canadiens looking like they're getting on the verge of clinching a playoff spot for this season. For those that haven't been following or watching Canadiens hockey this past season, what have been the biggest factors that have led the Montreal Canadiens finding themselves in this spot at this moment?
Well, if they beat the Red Wings tonight, it's going to be hard for them not to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
They'd be up 8 points on the Red Wings and the Rangers, so they'd have to really fall apart, or the Red Wings and the Rangers would have to get really hot. But it's been such an up and down roller coaster season. Going into the season, the goal from management was to be in the mix. That was the catchphrase, to be in the mix for a playoff spot. I thought that was a reasonable goal to have at the start of the season. I didn't think they were good enough to get into the playoffs, even if they would have had a healthy Patrick Laine right from the beginning of the season. I thought the goaltending was questionable. There was young defense, but they've just the character that they've built in this team and the brotherhood they've built in the locker room over the 3 years of this rebuild has really paying off now. This is a team that doesn't give up. The trade that brought Alexandre Carrier here from Nashville just before Christmas sort of solidified the defense. They were having all kinds of problems in their defensive zone. They had 5 left-handed shots on the blue line. Carrier sort of solidified that. The sort of hybrid system that Marty St. Louis likes to play in the defensive zone. There was a lot of confusion earlier in the season with it. They seem to have figured that out, and they play as a team. And they're a young group that's come up together. They've grown up together both on and off the ice, and we're seeing the results right now. As I said, they don't give up. They fight for each other. They play a 5-man system when they're on the ice. Their best players, their key players, they need contributions from Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield. They're getting that, and then Lane Hudson has just been, he's a rookie, and he's already turning into a superstar in this league. He has a chance tonight. He's 1 more assist to break Chris Chelios' rookie record for a Canadiens defenseman for most points, and he's only 8 assists behind the all-time Canadiens defense record for assists in a season set by Larry Robinson, and Larry Robinson did that in his 4th season. So Lane Hudson's had a huge role in this team, and the goaltending has been much more consistent recently from Sam Montembeault and Jacob Dobush, who was called up from Laval. They're on a 5-game win streak going into tonight, and just good news. I mean, Ivan Demidov announcement today, and then last week they announced that Jacob Fowler, their top goalie prospect from Boston College, has left school, and he's signed a NHL entry-level deal and a deal with the AHL that allow him to play for the Laval Rocket for the end of this season. So there's a lot to be excited about here in Montreal.
Yeah, Stu, sticking with Lane Hudson, I mean, leads all rookies with 64 points, played in every game this year. When he played against Edmonton, we got a really good look at him, and man, he can skate. He moves the puck really well. Not the biggest guy, but he's got to be the front runner here for the Calder. Just what can you expect from Lane Hudson when let's say they clinch the playoff spot, go into the playoffs? A smaller guy, but he's going to get his first taste of playoff action. What do you expect from Lane Hudson once he gets into the postseason?
Well, definitely my vote for the Calder Trophy. Yeah. I think he's the impact he's had on this team, and it's remarkable. And everybody knew his offensive abilities coming out of Boston University. There's no doubt about that. The size obviously was the big thing. He's 5'9", 160 pounds. I think when the Canadiens drafted him, if I remember, he was like 5'7", and 145 pounds. And I remember it was at the Bell Center, that draft. That's the same year they drafted Slafkovsky, number 1 overall. And when Hudson came out with the Canadian sweater on, he looked like a little kid who had wore his dad's sweater. It was sort of falling off his shoulders. I remember looking at him saying, there's no way this kid's going to be able to play in the NHL. But he continues to prove people wrong. And during evaluation camp, when Rob Ramage, the director of player development, met with us, and I asked him, how is this kid going to play defense in the NHL? And he said, well, he's like a dog on a bone on the puck in defense, and he's relentless, and he doesn't give up, and his edges are so good, and he plays his angles, and he's got a good stick. And there were some growing pains earlier in the season. Mm-hmm. He struggled a little bit, which is expected for any young defenseman. But defense isn't really a question mark for him now. He's playing monster minutes. He's playing against other teams' top lines. You watch him. He wins a lot of one-on-one battles against guys that are a lot bigger than him. But you're right. When the playoffs started, it's a different level, right? And a different intensity. You're playing the same teams for up to 7 games, and whoever's playing against the Canadiens, and it looks like it would be Washington if the Canadiens get in. They're going to be, one of their game plans is going to be to run Lane Hudson. But he seems to have that sixth sense where he never gets hit hard. I mean, he spins off of checks. He seems to see hits when they were coming. I spoke with his Boston University coach, Jay Pandolfo, recently. He said it was the same when he was there. I can only remember one time this season he really got rocked, and that was during a rookie preseason game against the Maple Leafs. He's as I said, his vision, and he plays the game. It's like somebody playing shinny in the NHL. I mean, it's really remarkable to watch how he goes up and down the ice and the edges he has and the vision he has, and to think that he's going to break Chris Chelios. Almost certainly he's going to get another assist in the last 5 games to break Chris Chelios' record. But the fact that he has a chance to break Larry Robinson's all-time Canadiens record for most assists by a defenseman really is remarkable.
How important is Brendan Gallagher to this team, not just on the ice, but in the locker room and off the ice?
Huge. I just wrote a column, actually. It was published just on the Gazette website a few minutes ago. After last Saturday's win over the Flyers, it was Oliver Kapanen's first game back after he got called back from Swedish Hockey League. He started the season here in Montreal, and then he went back to Sweden, had a really good season there, and the Canadiens called him back. He had like 8 minutes of ice time in that game. No points. But after the game, the Canadiens have a ritual, like most teams, for the player of the game. With the Canadiens, they give them it's a pair of sunglasses the guys wear. Some teams, it's a hat or a jacket or whatever. And Brendan Gallagher gave the glasses to Oliver Kapanen as the player of the game, even though he only played 8 minutes, even though Gallagher scored his 20th goal that night, even though Sam Montembeault played such a great game. And it was just another way that Brendan Gallagher, especially on this team, he's the longest-serving member of the Canadiens in his 13th season. But he's just able to make the young guys feel at home, and he jokes with them and he clowns with them and he has fun with them. And Juraj Slafkovsky said, when he was a rookie here, Gallagher would hide his car keys and do all kinds of stuff like that to him. And he said, it just made me feel like I was one of the boys, like I was part of the team. He says, it's not like he's looking at young guys coming in as, this is a guy who might take my job. He takes guys under their wing. I've written many columns this season. Nick Suzuki's a captain of this team, and he's a great captain, but Brendan Gallagher's the heartbeat of this team. He continues to be. He's the heart and soul of this team. And, he's got 20 goals this year. That's the first time in 5 years he's hit that number. And he's contributing on the ice, but his contributions off the ice are just as important, if not even more so, than what he's been able to do on the ice.
Stu Cowan joining us here from the Montreal Gazette here on EST Afternoons. Matthew Iwanyk, Hernan Salas. Stu, we always talk about duos in the NHL. That's kind of, where the game has gone. We got a pretty good one here in Edmonton, but they're in Montreal. Caulfield, Suzuki. I mean, Caulfield, 36 goals. Suzuki, 84 points. Career highs for both guys. Are these guys now just kind of, stepping up, being the face of the Montreal Canadiens, and going to be a long-term duo for many years for the Canadiens?
Yeah, it's almost like they're attached at the hip. They're members at the same golf course here in Montreal in the summertime. They always see them together. They're great friends off the ice, good teammates on the ice, and line mates. They feed off each other. Suzuki's just having an incredible season. Going into the Four Nations face-off break, the Habs was 1-7-1, I think it was, in their previous 9 games. And Suzuki met with GM Kent Hughes and basically begged them not to break up the team, saying, we got something special in this locker room and we want to see what we can do. And Hughes said to him, well, you're the captain, you better start winning some games. It's up to you to put the team on your shoulders and start doing that. Otherwise, we're going to be moving guys at the trade deadline. They had some key players that can become unrestricted free agents this summer. Jake Evans, David Savard, Yoel Armia, Christian Dvorak, and they all probably would have been gone if the Canadiens didn't start winning. But they won their first 5 games coming back from the Four Nations break, and Suzuki had a huge role in that. He's just been on fire offensively. And Kent Hughes didn't make any trades. And as I mentioned earlier at the top there, the chemistry this team has and the brotherhood they've developed in the locker room is a big reason why they are where they are. And I think the fact that Kent Hughes kept them together gave them just an added boost to move forward, and they really want to make the playoffs and experience what it's like with this group that, for the last 3 years, it's been rough here.
Stu, one last one for you. They're home tonight, the Canadiens, to the Detroit Red Wings. And like you said, if Montreal wins this one, it's pretty much, it's not going to be official, but you can pretty much count Montreal in the playoffs. What are the vibes like? What are they going to be like tonight if they do win that game? Because there's no better place to be in the playoffs than Montreal.
No, it'll be crazy. And fans are going to be pumped up just with the news that Demidov was coming here. As I said, that was unexpected. Nobody really expected him to be here until next season. Until fans were already excited about that. So just the fact that there were 6 points out of the wild card spot after the Four Nations, or heading into the Four Nations break. And I think there was 4 teams between them and the second wild card spot. So it looked like a monumental task to try and climb the way they have. So to think they're 6 points ahead right now really is remarkable. And this city has not had, 2021 run to the Stanley Cup final was in some ways a fluke. They shouldn't have got in the playoffs that year. It was the COVID year, and but they got in because of the way they set up the playoffs, and Carey Price and some other guys sort of carried the team on their shoulders to the Stanley Cup final. But there hasn't been a playoff game at the Bell Center with a full house since 2017, and the only guy on this team now that was with the team then is Brendan Gallagher. So Montreal hockey fans are starved for playoffs. Every player on this team except for Brendan Gallagher has never experienced a playoff game at the Bell Center with a full crowd. They're getting a taste of what it will be like these last few games. But yeah, this city is, the weather, I've heard the weather there in Edmonton's getting nicer. We had snow here today in Montreal, but the forecast will get better by the time the playoffs start, hopefully, and the city really come. Montreal, the city isn't the same when the Canadiens aren't in the playoffs in the springtime, and it'd be really special if they get back for the Canadiens, for the fans, and for the entire city. It's just a boost to the bars around the area, the restaurants, and we'll put everybody in a good mood.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Stu, thank you for taking the time to join us on a game day. I'm sure we'll have you on once round one comes along here. But enjoy the game tonight, and we'll chat soon.
Okay, my pleasure.
All right, that's Stu Cowan from the Montreal Gazette. That was a good interview.
I can't wait for that first game in Montreal.
You know what's crazy, though? Like you said, only one player's seen what Montreal is come playoff time. Like, some of those players are going to have the butterflies. That's going to be amazing.
I get goosebumps like watching that at home, right?
The
like
intro with the Coldplay song.
All of that.
Oh.
Like, I've never thought Coldplay, is it Fix You? I think they use Fix You.
Fix You, yeah.
Would ever be used as a pump-up song, but it works.
Oh.
They make it work.
It is amazing.
Whatever Montreal does, it's all class. It's all just wonderful. Just even the kid that brings the torch out and lights the ice and it makes it look like the ice. And I don't know if they've ever changed it. But you don't have to, because it's just so wonderful. And seeing those Habs fans, like,
I hope they win tonight.
I just want to see that in the playoffs again.
Yeah. Because
if they can knock off Washington, even better.
Compare the two cities. D-Rock, I must admit that this season has felt like the decade of darkness 2.0. D-Rock, come on.
I understand the ends of the season with these injuries, and like watching, yesterday's game, you might sit there, what if McDavid and Draisaitl weren't here? What would this team have looked like? The difference between the decade of darkness, though, is, and now you're going to the playoffs, and there's still a shot that this team wins the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
There was no hope at that time.
Come on, let's not D-Rock. Let's take a chill pill there, buddy. Like, I know you love the Oilers and you're a big time fan, but it's not even close, Matty. We live through
I guess the one thing I would say is maybe some games this year, unlike the last few years, haven't been as exciting offensively, right? Like, you're not seeing that firepower of the Edmonton Oilers.
No.
So that, from an entertainment perspective, the quality of hockey has felt maybe a little decade of darkness.
It's been up and down. Yeah. But, I mean, the decade of darkness, there was no up, Matty. There wasn't.
At the start of the year, there was.
Always.
This is going to be the year. And then by the time we got to November, we're like, okay, well, who's the first overall pick this year?
November 15th, the Oilers were usually out of the playoffs, and we'd be talking about the draft and what's coming up and who they should recall. And like D-Rock, I get your frustrations with the team, but let's just relax there, because that's a little harsh there. But Stu was great. It's a great interview, man. I want to go to Montreal and watch Game 3.
You don't hear anyone walk away from a Canadiens game saying that wasn't fun.
Like, with the Elks, my favorite city was Montreal, man. It just hits different. It's a different vibe there. You ever been?
Nope.
Really? Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Toronto, Ottawa?
I've been to Toronto.
Okay.
In Ottawa. Not as an adult in Ottawa.
Okay. Ottawa's underrated, man. Ottawa's a great city.
I'd like to go to Montreal.
Oh. Can we take EST there? Montreal, Edmonton Oilers final? No.
Oh, if there's an all-Canadian Stanley Cup final, I think there's something that has to be done at that point.
D-Rock says, there is no fix you with this organization. Everybody calm down. The playoffs haven't even started yet, and you're counting them out.
The fix you is Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl back in the lineup.
Matthias Ekholm.
Sure, I don't even have to add them, but sure.
Stuart Skinner. Are you a Skinner guy, or do you think he's? Do you think the Oilers need to upgrade?
I think Stuart Skinner. The criticism of him is fair.
Yes, 100%.
I also think the idea of just throwing him away and not having a part of this organization and just immediately thinking that this guy can never go win you a Stanley Cup is also ridiculous at the same time. This is only his third full season in the National Hockey League as a starting goalie. There is some development, but I also don't think that he, like, at the start of this year, I think there was way too much from the media babying of the criticism around Stuart Skinner, pushing that aside. Well, look at the defense. The defense is poor, as opposed to, well, maybe the defense is playing poor because goaltending is playing poor.
Yeah,
like I get the sense with Stuart Skinner sometimes from media in Edmonton, and it's the same as Dustin Schwartz. When things go well, they get all the praise, but when things go wrong, they are not allowed to be blamed.
Yeah,
and I'm one of those people that sits there and says, if you're going to put blame on someone, they also get the praise. If I'm going to praise Stuart Skinner for great play, if I'm going to praise Stuart Skinner for getting to the Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final last year, I also then have to put blame and be critical of him for things. Same with, like, and I don't want to make this a Dustin Schwartz thing, but it's people point to, well, look Skinner last year, like everyone was pointing, well, Dustin Schwartz, where's all the haters of Dustin Schwartz? But then you sit there and be like, okay, well, this year wasn't as well. Where's the heat on Dustin Schwartz? Like, if you get the praise, you should also get the criticism. And so when it comes to Stuart Skinner, I think he could lead the Oilers to a Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
I think, though, at the same time, though, in this playoffs, we are going to see, at some point in a series, Calvin Pickard be in the net to start a game.
It's fair to say that Stuart Skinner's had, especially probably since, mid-January, he's had a down. He's falling down. He's not the same Stuart Skinner. He doesn't make the big saves. You see the frustration. He's wearing it, Matty. Every goal that goes by him, there's body language there. And that, as a goalie, you don't want that, right? So maybe this was the best thing, maybe just getting a little banged up, being able to work on his game, clear the mind. Who knows? But
I think the injury is not a good injury for him to come back from.
The only reason I defended Stuart Skinner so much was because not every loss was on Stuart Skinner.
No, and that's the thing. I agree with you on that as well.
Yeah.
That it was just easy to blame goaltending all the time and goalie.
He hasn't been good enough.
Correct. Defense at times hasn't been good enough this year. There's a lot of blame to go around. It just seemed like from some in the media at the start of the year especially, it was never
Stuart
his
Skinner's fault. Yeah.
And it reminded me of MBT, where MBT would play well and he had his numbers to start last year. But it was never his fault that the Elks didn't have a win.
Yeah. It's like, well, he's doing his job. Well, he's not, because they're still losing.
They're not. He's not getting it done, right?
Yeah.
Like Stuart Skinner, okay, he only let in 3 goals that game. Look how bad the turnover is. Yeah. But you didn't make that save that sometimes the top goalies go make. Other goalies go make in that critical situation where you just need a save. You get the robbery save, the one that gets the fans out of their seat going, oh my God, how did he save that? There's not enough of that from him that you get from some other goalies.
No, and because I started the season, and you can go back to September shows, and I said, there's no more excuses for Stuart Skinner, Evan Bouchard. It's time to step up or shut up. Then when Stuart Skinner went on that run when he didn't lose back-to-back games for 2 months and the Oilers were the best team in the league for 2 months, I was getting annoyed that every time they did drop a game, it was all just Stuart Skinner. No one else's fault. But now it's the same thing. He's not playing well enough. He doesn't give you the big save. You know, I don't like the body language I'm seeing from Stuart Skinner. And then, like Lingus says, the question is, has Skinner ever won you a game this season? Of course he has.
Yes, he has.
Yes, he has. Like, come on, guys. Like, has he been a 50 save complete goalie job? No, but he's won you games. He's made a key save. You can't sit there and say he hasn't made a key save in one of the wins. You can't. But that doesn't take away that in the last 2 months of Stuart Skinner before he got hurt, he wasn't very good. And that's completely fair.
I know we have to go to break. I just quickly want to, Mike the Michigan fan says, blaming Dustin Schwartz is like blaming David Peltier for Bouchard terrible foot speed. It's a moronic take. But here's where I'll go. Like we sit there in hockey and we say Sean Burke is a brilliant goalie coach. Look at what he's done, with all these goalies in his time. So we've already in hockey, we go with goalie coaches and say there are goalie coaches that make difference with goalies, which means to me they also then deserve criticism. I don't know of a lot of skating coaches we have praised in hockey for like, look at how this coach.
Yeah.
We know of some great goalie coaches in the history, and we talk about how they can make a difference to goalies. That's why I sit there and say, if you're going to get praise, you then also deserve blame. Flip side is, you don't want to praise, you don't want to criticize Dustin Schwartz for bad goaltending then at times. Then he doesn't get praised when there is good goaltending. I'll take that. I have a counter to that. So if the Oilers, if Stuart Skinner goes off and has a brilliant playoffs, there is then no credit for Dustin Schwartz. If you're going to get credit, you get the blame, vice versa. If you're going to get the blame for all the people that want to rip on Dustin Schwartz, he gets credit for how Stuart Skinner played last year as well.
Yeah, you can't just have it to fit your narrative. It's got to go both ways. Here.
Correct.
All right, we got to get out here quickly. A last segment coming up here on EST Afternoons as Reed Wilkins, Jay Milne are live on location. The Trey Fords will be there for the kids sports event. Dusty Nielsen, Reed Wilkins will be doing kind of a hot stove there. A lot of EST crew members will be there as well. Go check it out, and should be fun. It's going to be streamed live as well. We're back after the break. Here's Koob, Sports Update.
After dressing 11 forwards and 6 defensemen last night in Anaheim, Noah Philp has been recalled from the AHL, joining the Oilers on an emergency basis. He's played 12 games this season, recording 2 assists for Edmonton. And big news in Montreal, last year's 5th overall pick, Ivan Demidov, is leaving SKA St. Petersburg to join the Canadiens for the remainder of the season, being 27th in KHL scoring this season. Elsewhere, Flames' 9th overall pick from last year, Zane Parekh, has been called up to the big leagues and will join Calgary tomorrow in Anaheim after recording 107 points in 61 games for the Saginaw Spirit this year. Tonight, the Wings and Canadiens are in action, while the Maple Leafs and Panthers drop the puck 10 games around the NHL. And Game 7 between the Oil Kings and Raiders shakes down from Prince Albert for the lone WHL matchup on tap. Toronto and Boston go toe-to-toe for the second of 4 straight meetings. Jays winning 6-2 yesterday. 2 games are live, including the Marlins leading 2-1 on the Mets at the bottom of the second. In the NBA, the Nuggets have fired head coach Michael Malone, and David Adelman will take his spot for the remainder of the season. Just 3 games left to go. Get 10 games tonight. Thunder and Lakers meet while the Wizards battle the Pacers. This sports update is brought to you by Windsor Plywood Leduc, locally owned and operated since 1993. They're more than just plywood. They offer everything from doors and flooring to decking, fencing, and custom millwork. Windsor Plywood Leduc, they're the experts you need to know. The final segment of EST Afternoons before the Reed Wilkins Show kicks off at 3 p.m. brings us back on the other side of the break. I'm Zachary Kubusch, and you're up to date.
Reed Wilkins Show with Jay Milne.
Capitals reporter for the Hockey News, Sammy Silber. What has the DC area experienced during the Ovechkin effect?
It just exploded here. And it wasn't even, Ovi's, scoring goals and he's a superstar. He also, transformed Washington into a legitimate team. Kids got on skates. There were more ice rinks. Words can't describe how great it's been for the sport here.
The Reed Wilkins Show with Jay Milne, weekday afternoon 3 to 6, only on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
The River Cree Resort and Casino presents Bump and Grind Rewind, May 16th, featuring Drew Hill. With Cisco and Genuine, plus DJ Hartman B. Bump and Grind Rewind. Friday, May 16th at the River Cree Resort and Casino. Get your tickets now at rivercreeresort.com.
You've heard the name, but what does it mean? For over 66 years, William Huff Advertising has supplied signage from screen printing to digital to LED with design, production, and install in-house. It's a one-stop shop for all your signage needs. Edmonton owned and operated, William Huff has been trusted by the biggest companies and teams in the City of Champions and many others across the country to do the job. If you're looking for a way to get the word out about your company or event, they are the answer. Go to www.williamhuff.com. Their results speak for themselves.
Play more tables and games.
Play more tables and games. Make the most of your bad game. Oh, you want to, you need to, you know just what you've got to do. It's time to add some fun to your life. Make the most of
Sportsnet.ca.
Final segment. EST afternoon. It's been a fun one.
I've enjoyed this, Hernan.
Oh, thank you. Hey, listen.
Especially winning.
To to everybody out there. Yes, the Oilers' goaltending has been average. The def core has been average at times. Some guys have stepped it up, like Darnell. Some guys have taken a step back, like Matthias Ekholm. Let's call it how it is. Evan Bouchard. And that's fair to say. But like, I guess the point we were trying to make is that we can't always blame the same people. They're a part of it, sure. Stuart Skinner has to be better. If this team wants to go to the Stanley Cup playoffs, his game's got to turn around quick and fast, and he's got to take an enormous step.
Or Calvin Pickett's going to take over the net.
Or it's Calvin Pickard time.
But like it's...
Yeah.
That's where we're at in this position where we're, there's actually could be a debate right now of who's game one starter.
I mean...
Which is wild to think going into this season that that's where we are.
It's crazy.
But that's partly because Stuart Skinner has not played well enough through the course of this season.
But Skinner's not alone. Many Oilers have taken a step back.
100%.
Yeah.
This is a season where a lot of Oilers have not replicated what they did last season.
Or lived up to the expectations.
And some of it is expected. Like Zach Hyman was not going to be overall, including playoffs, a 69 goal scorer type thing. Like he's not going to be a 50 goal scorer. You can't just count on that year in and year out now from Zach Hyman. There is where you get career highs, but you just had a lot of players take the step back this year.
At this point, the Oilers got to play the guy that's going to give him the best chance to win. And right now, today, it's Calvin Pickard. Now, I hope Stuart Skinner can get back and play in these last 5-6 games that they have to see where he's at. Because it's not a stretch anymore that Calvin Pickard can start game 83. It's not. But that can be injury.
But you want to know something? Rashog made a great point, and I think it was on the Mandate on Monday. From a mental position, and we talked about this with Jeff Skinner, it's probably a lot easier to start Skinner game 1 and then go to Pickard for game 2 if you needed to, than to start Pickard and have to go back, try to then go to Skinner, right?
Because then you have a fragile player.
Yes.
Yeah.
From that perspective, it might be easier to start Skinner because he is your number 1. And then if you had to make a change, easier to go to Calvin Pickard than reverse. That's one thing I will say that I think it was on the Mandate this week from Rashog.
Yeah.
We can hear you, Reed. Don't worry.
Don't
worry about that.
That's a great point. It's true though. I think it's easier to move from Skinner to Pickard from game 1 to 2 than going the other way around.
Yes.
Because then let's say Calvin Pickard gets blown up in game 1. You go to a fragile goalie, he loses. Then what do you do?
Well, and that's the part of it. Now the flip side is if you're a coach, you believe no matter what that your goalie's going to go out there and you're going to win the hockey game. You're not thinking the worst case.
Yeah.
So if you're Chris Nalbach and you choose to go to Calvin Pickard, you start him. You're not thinking that necessarily would have to go to Stu Skinner. You're hoping that he rattles off victories and he wins you that series. But you also have to be prepared. Okay, well, what if it didn't go well?
Yeah.
It's probably a lot easier to go Pickard into the starter's net from a backup position as opposed to Skinner into the starter's net from a backup position to start a series.
I agree. And we'll see this week. I mean, going into Friday and the Sunday game, you might have 2 of these guys back.
Well, I think, 2 of these guys back, like you're talking about.
You might have Leon and Skinner back.
I see what you're saying. Well, I would think we're going to have Skinner at some point soon here.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm missing something here, but they do call up Noah Philp, but there was no one sent down.
Yeah.
When they brought up Olivier Rodrigue, they loaned Derek Ryan to Bakersfield. And then they called him up.
So you're saying someone has to go down?
Am I missing something? I feel like somebody does have to go down. So is that Olivier Rodrigue that goes down? Or maybe they're just waiting till they get back to see where Skinner is.
You may be on
him down.
something.
And then we have Skinner, Pickard, and that. And then Sunday, Monday, we get the back-to-back Skinner, Pickard, which could maybe ultimately decide who is game 1 starter for the playoffs. Who plays better against Winnipeg/LA, whichever game you get.
Okay, let's say Skinner comes back healthy, but he's just okay. He's still your game 1 starter.
It depends on how Pickard plays, though.
Like if Pickard's unreal,
if Pickard plays, if we're going to talk Winnipeg LA, let's say Skinner, then Pickard. And Skinner's okay, but Pickard goes in and gets a 935 save percentage, lets in 1 goal. I'm probably going to go Pickard. Or I'm going to be more leaning towards Pickard. If they're about equal, I'm going Skinner.
All right. Well, we got to get out of here because Reed Wilkins and Jay Milne are coming up here from 3 to 6. They're live on location. They got a fun show ready for you as well. So keep it locked here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Reminder, keep hammering that thumbs up. A big shout out to the Hustlerites, the WSTers, the Winnipeggers for joining our show today. Always appreciate you guys jumping in and having some fun there on the Nasty Chat. Of course, always hit up the River Korean box 780-218-9999. Oilers game day tomorrow. For Zach Kubusch, Matthew Iwanyk, I'm Hernan Salas saying enjoy the rest of your day. Stick around for Reed Wilkins and Jay Milne. We'll talk tomorrow.
Bye.